Yeah. Be a little Emperor Palpatine, everybody. There you go. Yes. All right. Is it actually doing anything? Is it going? There we go. All right, we're up. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Houston. We have a problem. There seems to be there's problems everywhere. We talk about them, try to figure out ways to solve them, but in the end, we're kind of powerless to do anything about it. So we just bitch. Oh, I should have said that. Maybe I might get demonetized. So we complain. We kvetch. But yesterday, a whole bunch of stocks basically blinked off the market all at once at the open. They flash crashed. The circuit breakers triggered, and like 84 blue chip stocks all of a sudden couldn't trade anymore. Some of those stocks had very interesting level 2s. AMC was one of them, showing like $10,000, $9,000, just a trade or so away from triggering when it went blink. We also had evidence of FINRA testing was it T3 halt monkey? Some halt they're testing with a volatile stock. Tested it, put it back on. But the test stock called Test J was visible to all these brokerages and had bid asks or a bid of $45 and asks of $20,000. Wonder what they could be testing with that kind of spread. And people were actually able to search for it in their Schwab account and buy it. So for $50, someone bought a Test J stock that doesn't exist. Well, how about that? That's weird enough as it is, right? I say so. Boom. And off. Nighttime off, off. Both off. No second intro. Right, monkey? We got this one. Okay, so that's my news I had right off the top of the bat. What else? Oh, ARDS is apparently delisted. I don't know why. ARDS. Oh, if I don't search for right, it gives me acute respiratory disease. That's right. I forgot about that part. Okay. Still gives me acute. There we go. So ARDS Pharmaceuticals was at $1.23 at close, and since close of market is now down to 73 cents. So it's been cut in half essentially. Interesting. What's funny is like the two headlines here. Let's get the headlines. Oh, you guys can't see the headlines because I didn't turn on the Chrome. Let's turn on the Chrome, and then you can see the headlines. So two headlines here are come on. Is Artis Pharmaceuticals stock worth buying Wednesday? And Artis Pharmaceuticals up 12.8% pre-market. That's quite the went from $1.02 to $1.26 and then crashed after hours. Interesting. What other news do they have, man? It's weird. Weird, very weird. Okay. Let's go to chat. See what you guys want to talk about. We're supposed to have Rosa on tonight. Rosa had to cancel. I apologize. So we got a rain check. Maybe next week we'll be able to chat with her. The first, which is Wednesday? Next Wednesday? I think that's next Wednesday. Calendar. Yes, next Wednesday. That's the due date that FINRA is supposed to supply the response to her complaint. So sometime between now and then, we should have that document drop. We'll see what kind of garbage pile that is. And if they don't, for some reason, submit a response, then she automatically wins, which would be cool. So, trip and fall on your face, FINRA lawyer. Yeah. Okay. Chris Collins made it fantastic. Pin 15 all the way. Corey Jones, what up, Houston? Citadel had record profits last year. Can you believe it? They had record profits from one quarter. Everything else was a loser, 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 loser. I think it's uh, shenanigans would be the light way of saying it. I think that they did something. They're mixing their hedge fund and their market maker together and doing something that's crime related. There's no other way in a hedge fund can make that kind of money when the market has like no volatility. And it really didn't. Since about August, end of August, the SPY has been between like 385 and 405. That's just that's flatlining. There's nothing in there that sparks volatility for a hedge fund to make a fortune on. So I don't really know how they legitimately did that, because I don't think they did. Okay. And Chris Collins, thoughts on this whole Test J thing for warrants? It's interesting that these warrants are popping up. There was somebody else who had, I can't remember what brokerage they had. I was reading it on Twitter, having a conversation. But they had moved their MMTLP, their X bridge, into AST. And when they called to confirm AST, AST was like, we didn't actually get shares from them. We got warrants. So I don't know what's going on. It all seems just sketchy as heck. Yep, there's the people. Tyler Parsons talking about T3 halt again with the warrants. All right. Oh, G-Font, hey bud, thoughts on the swap theory? It makes sense why we are not running yet. If it's accurate, we should see a run the first week of February and a big one on March 10th from the flash crash. So G-Font sent me this video. I forgot the guy's name, G-Font. Richmond? Crap, I can't remember his name. But he had this data analysis of the GME ticker showing this weird 43-day cycle. The 43-day cycle would, at one point, would drive the price down every 43 days, just hammer it down. You'd have loss, 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 loss. And then a flip happened when we did buy and hold. And every 43 days, we started seeing a spike on those exact same days. And I guess his theory was that this is when these swaps like move around, or if people don't catch that date, they got to like buy more or something. I would guess that a lot of those swaps are probably tied to the doomps that we had as locates, right? Like you buy these deep out of the money puts, and you can use it as a locate for your naked sale. And then you package that naked sale FTD up and you ship it off to somebody else, and you bounce these swaps around between institutions until, I don't know, the music stops or whatever. I liked it. Crap. Tweet out the link again, and I'll send it out to everybody. It's an interesting watch to look at. Just from Dax, can you explain the test J theory I keep reading about? Supposedly it's a warrant test, possibly ahead of opening trading for MMTLP. I mean, people can speculate all they want on that. I honestly don't know if it is a test or not. I mean, if it is for MMTLP, the thresholds they seem to have on that test with such a huge bid-ask spread would suggest that it's for a volatile stock. We know that warrants are being used to sort of pretend like people have their shares. It seems to be very coincidental, but tests like that do happen. They do lots of testing, stress tests, the ability of the market to handle this stuff. It does seem peculiar that they're testing one specifically within those ranges, and it happens to be a warrant. Beyond that, speculation, baby. Meow meow. Did you see Kenny smacked his ex with a bedpost? It was in his divorce papers. What an awesome dude. I'm voting DeSantis for sure now. Not. Yeah. You guys didn't ever read about that? That DeSantis broke a post off their bed and then cranked his wife with it? Yeah. That seemed like a good dude. Not DeSantis, sorry. Ken Griffin. Oh, Ken Griffin did that. But then again, you know, Ken Griffin pays for DeSantis' campaigns, so you got that. Okay. I think we're on spin cycle, so if I start bouncing up and down, that's my laundry machine going bonkers. All right, Quantum Shore. Test J might just be a test. It might be related. I.e., they could use an anonymous ticker for trading to keep the trade price hidden from the public, but available between brokers. That is as prophetic as anything. I mean, if you're these brokers, your biggest fear, how much you're paying for this stuff. So they start asking more. But I do think there's a large enough contingent of owners of NextBridge who are going to say F you. And just, if it does trade, they're going to ask for a kingdom. And I don't blame them. I'm going to. But I don't think they want to. I don't think they want people to know exactly how much it's actually triggering for, just to keep them. Hopefully, maybe there's some doofuses out there that will sell at $12. Right? You had the opportunity to sell at $12 beginning of December. Why would you sell for $12 now? I don't know. But there's people like, oh, I just want my money back, and they can, you know, whine and cry all they want and miss out on the good loving if it does trade. Let's wait. Houston watch Pick of Destiny. I have not watched Pick of Destiny yet. All right. Docer's got coordinates for us very far north. Let's see here. Okay, whoops. I gotta highlight you. Click on that. Boom, boom, boom. Whoops. In the wrong window. Let's make you large. There we go. Okay, we're still in Portugal here from a few days ago. Going north. Where are we going? Going way north. We're going schmack. We're Svalbard. Is that where we are? Is this the seed depository? Yeah, Svalbard seed depository. So, up here in the middle of nowhere, we in Svalbard, these islands just up above the Arctic Circle that are part of Norway, just way up here, there is the crazy seed vault on this mountain. Oops, that's the airport. So here, they've been keeping seeds for every known plant on Earth. And it should, you know, the idea is it'll keep safe for 10,000 years. Although the permafrost seems to be melting, so who knows if that'll actually last that long. But up here is a seed vault. They put the seeds in there, they dehydrate them, and they keep them so that they can last for 10,000 years, and we can maintain that biodiversity. It's not just seeds for like plants we eat, but like everything. Because we are deforesting, we are mowing trees down, we are changing the climate, and stuff's getting eaten. You go to a place like Hawaii where you used to have these mumani trees everywhere, and no new mumani tree has grown for like 200 years because every time a little bud grows, the cow goes, oh, it's delicious, and they eat it. So none of the trees can actually like blossom. So all those trees are about to go extinct because they're getting to the age where they can't seed anymore. So you save the seeds and you put them in the little vault here. It's cool. I mean, it's basically an airport and a seed vault. There's not much town. Here's the town. Not much there. It's a very, very small town. My friend Joel went up here and he went skiing last spring and had just an amazing time. It was all backcountry awesomeness, and I was very jealous of his trip, and he looked like he had a blast. Although Air France lost all of his skis and he had to buy new skis, so, you know, good job, Air France. Just in my head, HW. If all time zones meet at the poles, what time is at the pole? Can you explain? honestly, I think it's probably just Greenwich Mean Time at the pole, be my guess. So if we zoom out, here, got the prime meridian goes from the North Pole through Greenwich, England, all the way down to the South Pole. And every other time zone, more or less, makes a little vajayjay out from that, all across the world. And then, some of them kind of dance around borders and whatnot. And then Russia, because Russia's so huge, they had like 10 time zones and they combined it down to one. So, it might be 7 a.m. in Moscow. And when it's 7 a.m. over here, it's the middle of the night or something. But I would assume that Greenwich Mean Time is at the pole. So essentially, the time zones all meet up here, and then if you get out a little ways from the pole, it doesn't really matter what time zone you're in, because the sun's up all the time and it's down all the time. So I'm not sure exactly how they work it. I think here, because there is nothing close to the actual, no landmass actually close to the pole, I wouldn't doubt if they just kind of use Greenwich Mean Time for most of the Arctic Ocean. South Pole, you got the South Pole Station at the South Pole, and you got a couple of other scientific outposts on the edges, and I assume that they probably just use whatever wedge time zone they're in, and South Pole probably uses Greenwich Mean Time. I'm saying that without actually looking it up. What time zone are the poles? By convention, the time at North and South Pole is Zulu time, also known as Greenwich Mean Time. There we go. Ha! And it applies to a large region around both poles. See? That's exactly what I was assuming. That's how I would do it. Oops, wrong one. I need to turn you off. So here we go. Yeah, convention time zone. There you go. These are answers from people. No, there it is. As all the lines of longitude meet in the North Pole, theoretically it could be any time throughout 24 hours. However, it's generally taken to be whatever time Greenwich Mean Time is. So as people are just answering the same questions. There you go. And space is Greenwich Mean Time as well. So you got outer space, you're in Greenwich Mean Time. And why is Greenwich Mean Time Greenwich Mean Time? Because the British created it in Greenwich, England. That's it. That's the entire reason Greenwich Mean Time exists, is because the Brits were like, prime meridian here, we invent time, good to go. We created the clock that allows us to figure out longitude, and the rest of the world now has to do that. G-Font. It's actually most price movement mimics inverse price 2 years prior. The big clue is random volumetric spikes due to the earnings date changes. Okay, so that was the 43-day thing. Again, tweet me the link again, and I will send it out to people, and they can watch. I watched it, and I was like, I'm still trying to process. So, I do think we're gonna have a lot of weird stuff happen in the coming weeks. Like the weirdness we saw this week, I think there's gonna be more weird things going on that we just really won't necessarily see coming. I don't think even the big players will know what's going to happen. These algorithms are going to freak out at times, and you might get stuff like yesterday where they flash crash a whole bunch of stocks by accident because someone punched a button wrong or whatever they're blaming it on. Jimmy D. Should a MOAS-like event not occur this year, who will be joining me in the Wendy's dumpster giving happies to well-paying, respectful clientele? Hey, having a fallback plan is really important, Jimmy D. So I'm glad that if you're stuck in a rut, at least you'll have shelter in that dumpster. It's got a lid on it, keeps the rain off mostly. So good on you. Do you guys ever see the micro apartment the guy created out of a dumpster? Which I'd always be terrified that they would just try to dump me into a trash bin, to a truck, and then squish me to death. Dumpster tiny home. Let's see here. Is it? Yeah. So dumpster tiny home. This one's got like a pallet and table and chairs. It's a little different than one of the other ones I saw, but you know, it's got his own little bed and all sorts of stuff. This one also. Here's one. It's a plastic bin. There's a few of them out there, I guess. And it's got a patio. Look at that. Windows and a patio. So, here's one. This one looks really comfy. 33 square foot dumpster tiny home. I'd be terrified that somebody would come along, scoop me up, and then dump me into a trash compacting truck, and that would be it. That would be it for me. Oh, see? Professor living in 33 square foot dumpster tiny house. Even got a mailbox. So there you go. It can happen. Just can't be claustrophobic. Or where someone like parks up against your door and you can't get out or something. Meow Meow, is Madonna's face growing? Sorry, I'm all out of hedgy questions. Last time I saw her, she had definitely had lots of work, like stretching her face and injecting her lips. Madonna, let's see what she looks like. I mean, she's in her 60s, and for somebody in her 60s, she's, you know, definitely trying to keep on that youth thing. Let's see here. What would probably be the most up to date recent photo? Okay. What? This is Madonna after lots of surgery. She's had her face tightened back. She's had her lips injected. She definitely looks like a different human being. That does not look like a woman in her 60s. That looks like a lady who's had lots of surgery to look much, much, much younger. So this was her before all that surgery, looking like a normal lady who's aging. And that's her now. Huh. Well, there you go. Whoa. 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 Yeah. Just, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you're gonna try and live forever, she's got that's Madonna and her son. Interesting. Well, things you learn. That's a lot of surgery. A lot of surgery getting done. Hey, man, whatever floats your boat, I guess. That's what you want to pay for. Try to hold on to that youth, by all means. Fight old man time as he comes along. Hain Train theory: if they have to cover on Acme, that may bankrupt hedge funds. To that, if there was a so-called Acme parent company, how would that be covered as it's heavily shorted? Well, there are shorts in that company that are legacies from when Acme was Torchlight. Remember, one Torchlight share became two Torchlight shares became one of Acme parent company. And there was 140 million, so that means 70 million shares of Acme parent company are potentially shorted. Well, have shorts attached to them, whatever. So if you got to close probably everything. My guess is you have to buy both in the end, right? Yeah. Flight Guy 99, Houston, where's the best place to see a solar eclipse in 2024? I've been thinking about this. I've been doing my research. I'm still trying to put it all together as to where to go. But 2024 eclipse path. Okay. There we go. So last time around, it went through Oregon and all the way across, I think to like South Carolina or something. I chose the Oregon Desert. So I went into the Oregon Desert and chose there. I got a spot right on the John Day River, so everyone could like hang out and float in the river and fly fish and hike and do whatever they wanted. And it was perfect because it was on Bureau of Land Management land, so it was free to camp. I would suggest finding a place on public land near a river. The problem is that we are east of the Rockies, which is there's not much public land out here. A lot of it's privately owned, so people will probably charge an arm and a leg for a lot of it. I might, if I had the ability and the time, money, I would probably pick Mexico somewhere. Like going to Veracruz would be great because Veracruz, you know, it's on the ocean, it's gorgeous and whatever, but you might get marine layer and might not be able to see it at all. Let's see. Let's go. Whoops, wrong one. I want to go back to Google Earth. Doink. So the path takes it kind of through the Sierra Madres down here. And there's got to be, you know, somewhere where there's a nice little river, you know, somewhere maybe in here, go out to the desert. If you're allowed, maybe plunk down on some waterway. Those looks pretty dried out. So maybe that's not a good river. But there's got to be somewhere in the mountains that has a really good spot to go and to camp and hopefully not accidentally, you know, happen upon something that the cartel's doing. But to me, that'd be ideal. April, this time, it'd be perfect. The weather would be like 75 degrees. It'd be just perfect in here. I think Veracruz, just north of, south or north? I think it's north of Puerto Vallarta. Go through here, somewhere in here, is where it's coming on shore. Would also be great. I mean, you just run the chance that you have marine layer that day and you won't be able to see it, just be behind the clouds, and you have this giant vacation to the Mexico coast, and at the time it's happening, you don't be able to see anything. But I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to try and convince all my friends to go to see it, because when we went in Oregon, it was easy peasy. You know, it's a 7-hour drive from Seattle to go down here in the John Day River and just have ourselves a blast. It was great. Absolutely great. Up here by Mitchell, near Painted Hills. We were right. John Day Fossil Beds. John Day Pat's Cabin. Wait. Mitchell. Where'd you go, Mitchell? Mitchell's right there. Go up to the river, through here, and we were right, I believe. Nope, not near the highway. We weren't near the highway. We were far from the highway. Gosh dang it. Where were we? There's Mitchell. Straight up from Mitchell. Up in here. Yeah. We were like right here. Right on the river. It was perfect. It was wonderful. And everyone should have experienced that. Anywho, find a river. We can go camp and stay for free. That's the goal. Because there are people like on ranches near there that were charging like $500 a night. And we were camping for free a mile from them. Meow meow. I read an article. The beavers are destroying the Arctic. This is a horrible betrayal, as I'm sure all of us love beavers. I read an article recently that was like, we need to let beavers do their thing because they help the environment. So I don't know what to believe. Meow meow. So, I mean, either beavers are helping us or they're against us. What I do know is that when beavers get rescued and they end up like living in someone's house for a while, they just constantly keep stealing furniture and making dams in the middle of the living room. So, that's adorable. They take their stuffed animals and like pile them on top of each other. They drag bar stools across the house, and they just constantly make dams everywhere they go, which is just one of the most adorable things ever. Okay. Now the point where people are angry about me folding laundry. Sorry. Hunson Bell's also got coordinates for us. Well, we're just coordinated up today. We're coordinating. Can't understand that. Oh, because it needs to be a comma. Hunson Bell. Gotta put a comma in there. Nope, still can't understand it. What? Oh. Because I didn't include the entire thing. There we go. That's my fault. I didn't copy and paste properly. There we go. All right. So U-boat, production bunker, Valentine, or proof Third Reich was truly batshit insane. So this was a bunker. Looks like a solar farm now. Dincourt Bunker Valentine. So they made U-boats here, pushed them out into the river, and then sailed them out. How far? There's the ocean. There's the North Sea. And that's not very far. I have to go down the river, but I wouldn't want to pilot a submarine in a river that doesn't have much draft. But it's protected. It's hard to get ships up there, so that makes sense. But yeah, it does look like they solar paneled the heck out of this place, doesn't it? It's a huge facility. How big is that? So it's more than a quarter mile long. That's a decent sized facility. Groovy. Well, they were insane. Meow meow, that was a horrible beaver. That was a beaver joke. How'd you miss it? Well, is it Wynona's big brown beaver? Shimmer, thank you so much for the hiccup tip the other day. You don't know how much I hate hiccups. I can't believe it works. Thank you. Yeah, it's weird how it works, right? You just go, hiccup, you son of a bitch. And then you never hiccup again. It works for me marvelously. Sometimes I tell my friends if they're hiccuping and they can't stop, I'm like, hiccup right now. Do it now. Do it. Do it. Do it. What are you waiting for? And for some reason, that seems to work wonderfully. Just in my head, thoughts on viral claim that scientists discovered electrically charged stones in the Congo. In the video, they light up a bulb of shiny rock. I've seen someone showed me the video. I call bullshit. Simply because what you never see is like the entire rock, right? Like if you could zoom out and you can see a rock that's not connected to anything and touch. There are conductive rocks. You can get hematite and other like rocks that have higher metal concentrations as ore, and you can put some electrodes on them and tap them together and you'll get sparks. But just a random rock just happens to have a bunch of electricity in it. That's not how it works. That stuff will discharge so quickly, especially since the way they're showing it is like they touch another rock and goes spark. That means it discharges. So if it rains, it's going to discharge the rock. The electricity is going to leave that rock because it doesn't really have poles on it. So it's hocus pocus. Somebody put some car battery leads onto some rocks that conduct electricity and then tapped them together. Okay. Dog Mom, been listening to some of these videos explaining the fractal theory and pattern from the algorithms. I hope they are correct and we're going to rock it soon. There's lots to talk about fractal theory. A lot of work went into it and hasn't done a great job predicting yet. But, I guess more work to do. I think the algorithms do their thing and largely run unchecked. But the minute we make a prediction about it, there's probably somebody paying attention who goes, I'm going to put my thumb on the scale and change the outcome of the algorithm today just so that they can't predict us. And that might be what's happening. Doing laundry sucks. Doing laundry does suck. Dog Mom, Houston would be the perfect housemate. Want to move to Maine? I don't want to move to Maine. Okay, I just reset the chat like an idiot again. Where was I? Okay, there we go. And then Chris says, Dog Mom, you just want Houston to reach the cupboards. Okay. Monkey Butt is pre-blanketed. Well, she was blanketed, and then she kicked off her blankets, and then she's gonna stand up 20 minutes and just stare at me until I put a blanket on her. Where's Chalupa? I don't know. He's wandering around. He has not make an appearance today, so he might be outside. I have no idea. Chad Clifford Houston still buying GME, still bullish. Yep, I'm slowly working my way up, trying to get to my 1,000 shares that I want to get of GME. I still have a long ways to go, so it's not happening anytime soon. But we're working on it. Just from Dax, did you see DFV's brother dropping clues? Thoughts? Yes. He did the Terminator 2 Judgment Day thing the other day, a couple weeks ago. It's interesting. Like, I like me some good conspiracies, but I don't know what he would know that's different than what we all know at this point, right? I mean, we're all reading the same DD at this point, so I do think that post Doops, trying to see what they've done. I mean, I don't know if let's look at the options chain. GME options chain. Bam. Okay, let's look at the options chain again. See if anything has popped up for 2020 whatever. So if we look, oopsie guys, I've got the stupid map on again. Map, go away. There we are. All right. So look at this week. We've got a few at $40. And we've got almost nothing at the low strike prices for puts. So not much going on there. But if we start to look out, have they swapped over? If we look at January next year, have they done anything? Anything? Lots of deeps? Oh, we got a few at 127, 18,000. So that's a million share, 1.8 million shares. And we got a few at some higher ones. That's about it. We've got about 10 million shares, 11 million shares at 250. That's still not going to do it. What about if we go to the following year? Go 2 years out. We've got 200,000 and almost nothing at the low strike prices for puts. So they've not done any of their covering yet. Because remember, 100 million shares, over 100 million shares expired last Friday, way out of the money on puts and calls. And I would be willing to bet that most of those puts were hedge funds. A lot of the calls may have been people who were like, well, this is a penny. I'll buy something at 950. Maybe I'll MOAS and I'll be a kajillionaire. But about 100 million or more shares expired in those options. And a lot of those were being used as locates for naked short selling. Because you can naked short sell as long as you can identify shares that are attainable. And if you've got the puts and calls, you've identified shares that are attainable. And now they're going to have to do something about the shares they locate. And I would be expecting to see this stuff take off, but at $48 per put, and you got to do 1 million of them. That's 48 million bucks in cash you're gonna have to spend on that. You just lost whatever millions you put into those puts and calls before. Now you got to do it all over again. I'd be curious to see what it is they do. How are they going to locate that stuff? They won't do it till they have to, so they might wait a month until people go, oh, you don't have those locates anymore. You're going to have to locate them, and they go, oh, fine. And so they start buying again. Whatever. People talking about the upcoming protest on Friday and Saturday in DC and in front of all the SEC offices. Those of you who are going, fantastic. I wish I could go, but I can't. I wish there's an SEC office in Seattle too, which the fact there isn't blows my mind because we've got Russell Investments and, you know, Microsoft, Boeing, Nintendo, Amazon, Real Networks, uh, Zulily, uh, Kenworth, whatever the parent company, Packard. There's all sorts of like Fortune 500s here that you'd think you'd have an SEC office with all that activity, but no, there's no SEC office out here. Bex, hey Houston, happy birthday. How do you maintain your positivity? What's going on just drains me of hope. I'm so deflated. I would say a positive outlook oftentimes comes from some sort of ability to detach yourself from what's going on, and I like, yeah, stuff gets messed up, prices drop, you lose money, things like that, and you go, well, that sucks. But I mean, personally, I don't invest in a way that my entire future is dependent upon, GameStop rocketing next week. Like, I'm not mortgaging a house, taking out loans, putting in more than I can invest, trading on margin, hoping to maximize this stuff. Like, I don't do any of that. I just, drop some money here and there. I've got like the money that goes into my long-term investment strategy for retiring, like the 200 a month, whatever might send to that. I've got the money I'll play messing with options, which is mostly just my degenerative gambling. And then I've got, my long term, like if I put money in this now, these shares could be a legit company 5 years down the line and be worth a fortune. I've got like the startup money, and then I've got my MOAS, Hope Springs Eternal money, which, ride that roller coaster. It'll pop again and would be like, woo, we're on top of the world. Then it'll probably fall down again and go, oh. And right now I'm trying to play using my degenerative options gambling to play the cycles of these meme stocks. And I was doing so well until Ryan Cohen pulled out of Bed Bath & Beyond, and then it just blink, wiped me out. I had turned $325 from last March into almost six figures. And then he announced, like, I'm no longer part of Bed Bath & Beyond after close, and everything went down to $1,000. Oh well, sometimes just shit's fucked up, man. What are you gonna do? Very loud. Sounds like a C-130 flying overhead or something. So how do I maintain my positivity? Because I'm looking out beyond the current situation. I'm looking at the fact that they've built a giant house of cards that has to collapse at some point. And when it does, they're going to have to close positions. And I'm hoping, if not some or all of my of my plays for MOAS get triggered in that and are enough for me to sit on a beach and or drive a 4-wheel drive RV somewhere with the dog and go smash rocks for fun all day, every day. That's, that hope. You have to have that hope in there. Granted, they're fighting against us, but as long as we're buying and holding, they are not closing their positions. So just keep buying and holding, and then they're not closing. And, at some point, they may have to close. Crazy Diamond. So if they do open MMTLP trading, and you have NextBridge, are you stuck, or will you be able to sell as MMTLP to get money now? Two different stocks. I don't know. That's why I'm not bothering to try and register anything right now with AST. Because if they do open trading, it's going to be way easier to deal with it out of my brokerage than it is out of a registered agent account when, You know, the registered agent may never swap over the ticker. They may never be like, well, it's next bridge, it's paper shares. There we go. So I'm just gonna sit in my brokerage and go harumph until something happens. Hoping that we get, you know, some cool info out of various court systems, or, you know, the brokers break down, just start a market again. I have no idea. We'll see. Something's gonna happen, because that's the only way you can get any closure on this. People don't have their real shares. There's currently no outlook for them to really truly get their real shares if they're still in a brokerage account. And how are you going to rectify that? Oh, wow. Decatur Raw, happy birthday. Houston, just wondering if the whole play dead, if we all vote yes on the AMC squeeze, or will it burn us by giving Antera more ownership than retail? Hey, Monkey Butt. I mean, the way I see what Adam Aron's going to do is, you know, he sold the 300 million apes to these hedge funds. They're going to convert the apes, one ape into one AMC, and then do the 10-to-1 reverse split. So you have your 500 million AMC, you have 800 and whatever million apes, and that will combine to be 1.3 billion or so total AMC shares, and then they do a 10-for-1 reverse, and that becomes 140 million or so shares. 30 million plus of which will be short hedge funds. So 1 in 4-ish shares will be hedge funds. And then, you know, the stock price might be at $50 a share, and then Adam Aron plans on selling more AMC stock to raise capital to pay off debt, which I get. You want to pay off debt, cool. The thing is that Adam Aron has a history of not selling to retail, but selling only specifically to hedge funds. So if he wants to sell $5 billion in stock to pay off his debt, let's whip out the calculator here. Turn you off. Calculator time. Okay. So if he wants to sell $5 billion, right? At, let's say it's $50 a share. He's got to sell 100 million shares, right? That'll go on top of the 30 million that the hedge funds already have. Right? 130 million. That's 130 million out of about 230 million, 230 million shares, 240 million shares. So the hedge funds would have, let's call it, it's 240 million. Hedge funds would have 54% of the company at that point. And they would be able to control everything the company does. That gives them a majority. And if he sells more than that, if he sells 200 million shares because it sells for $25 a share, then he's going to give them a huge chunk of the company, right? So if they sell 200 million, so it'd be 230 million out of 330 million total shares, right? Then you're at almost 70%. 69. So unless Adam Aron does at the market sales to retail, he's going to give control to the hedge funds. That's what he's going to do. And they're going to have enough sway now with their 25, 30% of the company to say, hey, we want some board members. We want our people on your board. And that's what they do. They will put their people on the board. And if it's a hedge fund that had a short position before, they're going to destroy the company from the inside, because that's what they do. That is the classic short attack, is you get your insiders on their board and then you destroy them from the inside. And I don't hold out much hope that Adam Aaron's going to do those sales to retail. Because he's never done it before. All he does is he finds his little hedge fund buddy. He goes, "Hey, would you like to buy 200 million shares of my company?" And they go, "Okay," and he dumps it all over him. And then they now have control. So I will hope he proves me wrong, but I mean, it's really one of those fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me type situations. He's fooled me too many times at this point. Like, if his goal was to sell 300 million shares of stock to raise a bunch of money, right? So go back to the calculator. If his goal is to sell 300 million shares of stock, why didn't he sell it at $6 and raise 1.8 billion? Instead, he sold most of it at 66 cents. So 300 million at 66 cents, and he raised $198 million. He could have raised 10 times as much money selling 4 months ago than he did last month. So if his goal is truly to pay off as much debt as possible and ruining the chance for like T90 to actually squeeze these hedge funds, why did he sell for fucking chump change? Right? Oh, man, Terra had some of the bonds. They also had a giant short position. So, you just made 300 million shares that now become completely available for borrowing. Yes, they agreed to not sell for 90 days. Whoopty shit. They just lent them all out for 90 days. Right? We saw, like, the week of that sale, 54 million shares suddenly appear of apes available to borrow. And the interest rate went bing, just collapsed on it. All those ape shares will represent AMC shares in, a matter of weeks whenever they put this to the vote. So I'm a little pessimistic about that. My optimism ain't so high when it comes to what Adam Aaron may do with that, because he sells to hedge funds. That's what he does. Stop selling to hedge funds. Offer at the market to retail slowly over the course of weeks or months. That's what GME did, and they paid off all their debt. Right? And their stock price was friggin' huge. So why don't you use the example that works if you want to pay off your debt? I don't know. Okay. Hans has coordinates for us. Man, you guys haven't coordinated like this in a long time. I could go back to yonder. Shoink doink. Okay, we're flying, going east, going to Australia, going smack, going to beach community. Where are we? Like Brisbane? I can't tell. We're on a road. It's a road somewhere. There's a 7-Eleven. There's a Bank West. There's a Move Yourself trailer hire right there. Okay, my guess is we want to go to the street. Okay, we got ourselves a hell of a ute. Do you think those things are absolutely honk if you're horny? wait, back. Honk if you're horny. Cock ass. Those kids rule. How awesome are those kids? There's all the letters on the ground right there. Those kids are just fucking shit. Oh. You go, boys. You guys are awesome. Just some excellent hooligans right there. Good job. Good job, fellas. I tip of my cap. No wag on my finger for that. It reminds me when the grocery store reader board. I'd gone to Thanksgiving at my mom's friend's house, and at the time my mom worked nights as a nurse, so like she went off to go do her nursing job. I hopped on the ferry, was coming home, was walking home from the ferry, going past the grocery store, and some college kids I think I may have been a junior or senior at the time in high school. Some college kids I'd gone to school with were back for the Thanksgiving weekend, and they were climbing all over the reader board at the grocery store, and it had said something about like the Boy Scouts Xmas tree U-cut thing, and they had changed it to little boys and sex toys. And yeah, tip of my hat, folks. Good job. I love a good, I like for horny cock ass. Excellent children right there. Good job. Thank you, Hans. That's a good one. That was a real good one. Good job. And they had no idea the Google car was going by, and it's happened to. Good job, dudes. I want to high five you so hard. Okay. Just from Dax, when AMC Bigums. AMC Bigums will be on Tuesday next week, in 6 days for our Charity Tuesday show. And I still have not decided on our charity yet. Go to the Reddit, r/Houston Wade. We've got a post there announcing that Bigums is going to be on, and we just got to figure out what charity. Post all your charity options in there. Any ideas you have for charities, and I'll select one. So he's going to come on. He's going to talk to us about what's happening with ISDA and swaps and margin. All sorts of weird things are happening. We'll probably argue a little bit about Adam Aaron. I don't know. But for any rate, we're going to raise a bunch of money for charity, and that's going to be a good thing. So we've got that to look forward to. Oat Milk Man, Houston, how come the gemstone chrome diopside is so rare? I don't know how rare it is. I've never owned any. It's cool green, I'll give you that much. Rare translucent gemstone calcium magnesium silicate. Variety of chromium rich, causing beautiful green. Okay. Tell me how it's made. So it's mined almost exclusively from a region in eastern Siberia known as the Inagli. Everybody known for its impressive diamond deposits. So is AGS gems chrome dioxide? That's a good way to see what its value is. I'll get for horny. Turn you off. Okay. Oops, nope. Not that. Turn you on. Okay. So there's some cool varieties of it. Looks very selenite-ish, but green. Do you have any for sale? Any chrome dioxide? Let's see here. Shop gems. AGS quality. Give me some. Show me what it's worth. Come on. Gemstone list. There we go. Okay. It's going to be under other colored stones. Rare varieties. They don't have any for sale. More fine gemstones. Any for here? Gemstone sweets. Baronite. Chrome diopside. We got any? Any for sale here? I mean, they got some, but it's not super expensive. So stuff 1 carat's looking at $20 a carat. So it might be rare, but people don't seem to want it. But it only comes from that one region in Siberia, so it might end up being really hard to get right now because of sanctions. But it doesn't have a sexy name to it. Chrome diopside just doesn't, like honey. I got you some chrome diopside. You might be like, is that a part for a car? So that could be a reason why it's just price hasn't taken off. It needs a better gemmy name, I think. You know, like Alexandrite was named after Prince Alexander from the Russian court. Tiffany stone, Tiffany. Sapphires. They've got these sexy names. Chrome diopside sounds more like a medical treatment than anything else. So they may have to come up with a sexy name and rebrand it. Call it, I don't know, evergreen. Something like, oh, I got an evergreen. 1 carat of evergreen. I don't know. You gotta sexy it up. Just like they did with the drill bit stones in Australia. The crappy brown diamonds that are just garbage. They rebranded them as chocolate diamonds, or burgundy, champagne diamonds, cognac diamonds, and then people all of a sudden start paying thousands of dollars for them. So, seems like the reason it's rare comes from one place. Rob, any chance of trading MMTLP next Monday and Tuesday on a T+0 basis? You got me, bro. I mean, all the speculation was that this week we were going to trade like crazy, and that didn't happen. And then, Webull extended their, you got to register by the 20th to, you got to register by the, 6th or something? It all seems completely arbitrary to me. So, I don't necessarily, when it happens, but all the speculation as to like the dates that we're gonna start trading next Monday. Why? What's changed between now and then? There's been no court rulings making them do it. All we've done is bitch and moan and file things and complain, but there's been no action out of any of those regulators or news agencies or law enforcement people. I don't see any reason why I would suddenly trade next Monday and Tuesday. Like I said in Productions, Houston, any news on Sears? None that I'm aware of. No Sears news yet. Chad Clifford, Houston, in your opinion, what has to happen for market makers, hedge funds, FINRA, etc. to play fair? What's got to happen to stop the obvious cheating? Happy birthday tomorrow. I think the two big things that would have to happen. I have three. There's three big things. One of these three big things. The court making them do it. Right? The court says, all right, you're going to have to relist MMTLP, force these shorts to close, and it's going to cost you a fortune. If that happens, then there's a meltdown of the entire economic system globally, and hedge funds start just blinking out of existence. Banks start going under. The Fed, Treasury start printing money and banknotes like crazy. That would be an outcome. Two, the global economy just collapses. Just the bottom falls out. Flunk. Quantitative tightening finally begins by the Fed. All the assets collapse. We don't pass the debt ceiling, and everything collapses. Hedge funds blink out of existence. Banks start going under. Fed starts printing. Blah 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 blah. All over again. Number three, which would probably be the softest landing, is getting regulations passed by Congress to ban things like naked selling. Right? You say you can't naked sell anymore. If you do naked sell, we're going to throw you in prison. Stuff like that. None of this like, oh, if you naked sell something, we're going to fine you 1 penny per stock you naked sell. No. Throw their ass in prison. Punish them with a 200% fine worth the value of whatever they naked sold. Make it so painful that they never want to do it. Right? It's not like it's a physiological addiction. They're doing it because they get away with it and they make a lot of money. You make it so they lose money every time they do it. They're not going to do it anymore. Right? You make it so that like they can no longer go to the golf club because they're spending 10 years in the Huskow. They're not going to want to do it. Make the crime hurt to commit. Those I see as are the three options right now. So we're either waiting for a judge to crash the economy for us via paying us on MMTLP, the economy crashing on its own, largely because we probably have a bunch of Congress people who don't up the debt ceiling, and or bond market just collapses in general because Japan doesn't have any money, China doesn't have any money, US doesn't have any money, Germany doesn't have any money, no one has any money. Housing market collapses, all that stuff. Or we actually change the laws and start to punish those who do wrong. And like changing the law, making naked shorting illegal, it can have like a grandfather clause, like, hey, we're making naked shorting illegal as of now, but any naked shorts you have out there, you've got 2 years to close your position or something like that. Just sort of slowly allow them to like cover it. It could be a gentler way of doing it. granted, hedge funds don't do anything until they're forced to, so they won't actually do anything over those 2 years. And 2 years later, they all panic. Like, oh crap, we got 4 days to close everything. And then they blink out of existence, banks start going under, the Fed has to start printing money or whatever. But, you gave them the option, right? But I think those are the three ways that we fix and make a fair market. Crazy Diamond, hey dude, hi from UK. Gonna go looking for Comet C 2022 E3 ZTF next week. Yes, it's going to be near Polaris, which I can see easily from my backyard, if it's not cloudy. So if it's not cloudy, I'm definitely looking for it. If it is cloudy, well, I'll just take you guys' word for it that it was beautiful. I read a strange thing that was like in February, it's going to be much more visible in the southern hemisphere. You got to look towards Polaris. I'm like, in the southern hemisphere, you can't see Polaris. So what are you smoking? I mean, granted, that's going to fire all the way across the sky and get like a significant way south before anyone in the southern hemisphere can see it. Will Chupa Batman be using his timeshare in the office tonight? I don't think so. I don't think the man is anywhere to be found. Oh. He's nowhere. He normally like claws at the door or makes some noise or something if he's around. I'm an hour behind the chat right off the bat. I'm now only 18 minutes into the show, into the chat, and we are an hour and 14 minutes into the show in technicality. Chris Collin, has anyone heard about the supposed subpoena from Congress? I have not heard about any subpoenas from Congress about anything. So, no? Green-Eyed Bandit Elixir. Yeesh. Cost to borrow on BBBY. 115% on fidelity. Do these metrics even matter at this point? Or were these clowns just can kick? I mean, we saw the news that the board allowed insiders to divest their shares. The shares matured at a much sooner rate, so they can dump them all, except for the CEO. I don't know how Bed Bath & Beyond is going to work out, because Bed Bath & Beyond has two options. One of those options is finally give Ryan Cohen what he wants. The other option is die. And Ryan Cohen gets what he wants. The company lives. The shorts get absolutely hammered. If they die, that gives the shorts what they want. And Ryan Cohen's no longer invested, so he goes, oh, well, tough shit, guys. I tried. I made a profit off of you, so oh well. I guess it just depends on how corrupt is the board. Is there enough Ryan Cohen guys in there to be like, look, we want to survive. We're going to give Ryan what he wants, and you're going to sell him baby or give him a controlling interest or something. If the board is controlled by hedgies, then they're just going to take on more debt and die. So, yeah, there we go. Chris Collins' Faraday house, where time begins. They have a red ball that drops on its roof, so boats leaving the Thames can set their clocks. Classic British things. La la cool, don't mean to be annoying, but would love your thoughts on AST Space Mobile, ASTS. They're building the first space-based cell broadband network connected directly to standard mobile phones. I don't know about that specific network, but I don't think it's the first because SpaceX, their Starlink, the ultimate plan for Starlink is to eventually connect to cell phones. SoftBank is launching them, and Blue Origin and Amazon are launching one as well. So there are others out there that are going to try and get this entire like mesh network of tiny microsatellites flying all over the place. Just probably making it absolutely impossible for us to launch anything else in the future because we're going to have just 100,000 of these fuckers just flying around all over the place willy-nilly. But ASTS, Space Mobile. Okay, so it looks like their prices are doing all right. So what we got here? They peaked other times. So AST Space Mobile, they've been as high as $13. They were as low as $3.76, and now they're floating around $5. So AST was doing really well, and then they missed out on some government contracts and basically shut down their entire business for most of COVID. But looks like they're Blue Walker 3 on target to deliver first and only space-based cellular broadband. So when is this supposed to be? It's from Business Wire from a month ago. So this is Business Wire. This looks like probably a press release from them that's been republished. Blue Walker 3, validate design roadmap, Bluebirds, blah, 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 blah. We're looking forward to initiating testing with our mobile network operator partners starting early that quarter. When are you going to launch, dude? Emergency power communications, prepare, blah, 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 blah. Direct cell satellite capability beginning that time. So they're going to launch 5 commercial satellites later this year. So probably December next year, November next year. I mean, cool, but they're gonna need 50,000 of them, 40,000 of them, and that's gonna cost a lot of money. So again, like yeah, it's definitely a press release because it's got contact the investors, contact press person in this thing. So this is Business Wire just reposting a press release. Cool. I mean, I'm all for getting rid of cell towers and being able to like be in the middle of the ocean or the Sahara Desert or something and have full signal. But you're competing against companies that have already built thousands of these things and are ready to launch. So if they get it off the ground, awesome. But I don't know if they're actually going to beat everybody to market because SoftBank is definitely doing it. SpaceX is doing it. Amazon, Blue Origin are doing it. Lala, cool. They're with you, Jimmy. So Lala is ready to give some handies. Behind the Wednesday temperature. Don Caesar shade him. How many of you just Googled Madonna pics? Johnson, enormous. Did you hear about the Earth's core stopped rotating? I've heard it. I don't know if it's really just it stopped rotating. It's going to go in the reverse direction. I don't know if that's how physics necessarily works. So, the spinning core at the center of Earth may have recently stopped rotating relative to the surface as part of a 7-decade cycle. Okay. So, so the core, the Earth spins, and inside the core also tries to rotate with it. And then every once in a while, I think friction may slow it down, and it kind of stops. And then the Earth spins, and it kind of spools it up, and it starts going faster again. But it happens every 70 years or so. Okay. Oh, here's the cat. He wants to say hi now. Want to come say hi? There you are. I knew you'd come make noise eventually. All right, buddy. Everyone's wondering where you've been. You are a star of the show now, so yeah, you can hang out down there and rub legs all day long. Come on up. There you go. Yeah, I got a cat. Woo! Ecorletto 46 Houston, happy birthday! Buy yourself a yoo-hoo on me. Well, thank you. Oh, you know what I got? Oh, so I did a Costco run today, and as part of the Costco run, just wait for this. You ready? Ready for the head to pop around? Oh yeah, that was it, wasn't it? Oh, Look at this giant monster. Jerky treats. Someone's gonna be stoked. Oh man, these things are huge. They're huge. Should we break one off for the trip of Batman? Would you like one? Come here, kitty. You smell all day long, but put it in your mouth, you dummy. Yeah, you can lick it. Does it taste like food? Yeah, there you go. All right. Oh, monkey, look. The cat dropped his because he's an idiot. Okay, there you go. One more? One more? All right. One more, we gotta come and get it. There, come get it. Right here. Come take it. There you go. All right. Smells like straight up beef jerky, but reseal for freshness. Okay. We'll do Costco size bag of dog treats. I mean, it was $12 for 60 ounces of beef jerky. Try getting the human beef jerky for that little. It's going to cost you like $12 a pound for it. Okay, that's it. That's it. All done. You did it. Cat, you tried. And the cat's rubbing his head on the thing again. Okay. I forgot they reminded me. Yoo-hoo treat reminded me. Okay. Dude, cat, stop rubbing your head on the thing. Come on, get back up there. Come on, get back up there. Here, stop it. Stop it. Okay. I heard people talking about how weird Madonna looks. Solar eclipse thing. Iggy Lemon, Black Udon. Fillers widen the face as people age. They don't figure that out until recently. Now everyone is trying to remove their fillers. Because they're like injecting stuff into their face so it smooths out the wrinkles. Because, like, you know, think about it. Your balloon gets all saggy, you blow it up, and then it gets all saggy again. You got to blow it up again. So there you go. Julianne, I just turned 60. I'm fine with the grays and wrinkles. Embrace the crone. Why not? You know? It's life, man. I was reading about this guy spending $2 million a year to have essentially all of his organs regenerated so that they all be to like where he was 18 years old. Dude's only 45. Granted, he looks kind of like shit for 45. But that's a lot of money and time and effort. But there was a cool thing I read about. They did the cell regeneration in rats, and the rats went back to like young rats again. You know, they're blind and had macular degeneration. The organs were failing, and they did this gene therapy, and all the rats all were like they're like young bucks again. So they're gonna try to move on to another animal. When they do lots of these tests on rats, and then it never translates to actual human beings. But they're gonna try larger animals, I guess, in the next round, and see if they can make them live forever. Kitty, would you like to live forever? Huh? Think of how many creatures you could murder over the course of forever. So many creatures could die. You gotta get that one that's in the wall though that I heard, because that's your job. That's your one job, is to murder. Bum, bum, bam. All right, still talking about Madonna in here. Javi A, I took a teacher NASA course a few years ago, and to have the best look for the eclipse would be Fredericksburg, Texas, highest point, nice town, and the only southern city to stay part of the Union. Okay. Dakota Gregory Chadswick Duckingsworth the fourth. I'm late, and I'm sure you covered it. Synopsis and the blanket NASDAQ halts. New York Stock Exchange said that it was an error of one of their technicians who just punched something in wrong and then shit hit the fan. There's still lots of rumors that it was someone like BlackRock just dumping stock. I don't know which one's right. I'm sure New York Stock Exchange is probably trying to cover for this, but we had a similar collapse of stocks, flash crash in 09 as well. So it's not new. It was across these like blue chip tickers. And why was it only these 84, not others? Like, you know, you can kind of match up the holdings and who may hold those stocks and see if perhaps there's a matchup there. I don't know if we'll ever get the honest truth out of anybody on that. You puts cost the same as share guys who wander over here. Urgh. Kevin Fitzpatrick just tuned in. Chevron rumor. Chevron is going to be doing like $75 billion in stock buybacks. They announced today. So there's that. I mean, if you got $75 billion to do stock buybacks, why are you charging me $4 for gasoline? If you got $75 billion to stock buybacks, why is the U.S. government giving you $35 billion in tax breaks? If you've got $75 billion in stock buybacks, why aren't you investing that $75 billion into, I don't know, any of the oil field leases that you have to actually produce oil and gas? This is why I'd love to see some legislation, you know, making stock buybacks absolutely punitive. But you can't do that legislation until you get rid of naked shorting, right? Because for small cap companies, they got to do stock buybacks just to keep their stock price afloat against the dilution of these naked shorts. Rich ass companies just do stock buybacks because, oh, there's a recession coming and our stock price might drop a little bit and our boss might not be able to meet the targets in his contract and he won't be able to get his giant bonus at the end of the year. That crap's garbage. And if you're going to do $75 billion in stock buybacks, all right, calculator time again. Chevron. Oh, whoops. CVX. That's the code. CVX. Okay. Boom. All right. Right now it's at 179 bucks. Stock price just shot up because they made that announcement. So it shot up $10 or whatever. Good on those folks who had any calls. They just made $1,000 on every single one of those things. Over the last year, Chevron was at 130 and change before the invasion of Ukraine, and then shot up. Has been bouncing around. Had a couple of drops here, but for the most part, you know, let's say 150 plus average overall. Okay. $346 billion market cap. So let's do the calculator here. Okay. Calculator. Cat, I can't see. You are in the way. Turn off the Chrome. There we go. There's a calculator. All right. So just do quick clear. 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Divide that sucker by 180. And that gives us 1.9 billion shares. Almost 2 billion shares. Okay. Divide that sucker, 75 billion, by 2 billion. And that gives you $37.50 per share that they could do as a dividend, special dividend. What would help their stock more? 75 billion in stock buybacks, or giving their shareholders $37 a share. I personally, if I had $170 stock, I would want a $37 dividend. Right? That'd be pretty cool. All right. Because I don't think the stock price is going to go up $37 in the course of this. You know, if they're doing a $75 billion stock buyback, $75 billion stock buyback at 180, you're buying back 400 million shares. Yeah, stock price is going to go up $37 on that. You got 2 billion shares out there. You might have 1.6 billion in the end. The same market cap. Okay. So 346. Let's divide that sucker by wait, I do 1.6 billion. So divide by 1, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. There we go. So it gives a $216 per share. So if the stock price isn't $216.25 a share, at the end of them spending $75 billion on the stock buyback, then the shareholders lost out. So 180 to this much, that's almost exactly as much as you would get out of a special dividend. So why not just give a cash dividend to your shareholders? Same thing with Google, same thing with Microsoft. You're spending $60 billion. I would rather have $60 billion sent my way than do the stock buybacks. Yeah. And I don't know. I liked they took the legislation out in the infrastructure bill, but it was going to be like, if you're doing stock buybacks, we're going to tax you fucking 50% on that money. So if you're spending $75 billion on stock buybacks, you're going to be spending another $37 billion in taxes on it. So I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. Wildcat Strike 3, does Houston's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy include any interesting tourist traps? What is the I-90 of the Milky Way? I hope everyone goes to every tourist trap they ever come across, because they're wonderful. And get a t-shirt or a bumper sticker, every single one. Support your local small business, and do that. Javier has got coordinates. Oh, it's coordinates. Spot for the eclipse. This is where Javier wants to go for the eclipse. Okay. Fume. Still just brilliant, honky horny cock ass. Those kids are so cool. I want to be those kids. Okay. Spot for the eclipse. This is Texas. All right. Little roadside spot right there. Hang out. Up on a hill. You're at, where are you? 1,400 feet. Enchanted rock. Natural area. Where are we? We are in Tejas. We're dead center, man. How far east of Austin are we? About 80 miles. Oh, sorry, 80 miles west northwest of Austin. Middle of nowhere. Good a spot as any. I mean, I would hope that this arroyo here has water in it and you can like hang out. I don't know, go camping. Is there camping along here? There's parking, lots of parking. I'm sure you can just camp wherever you want and not tell anyone, I guess. But there's gonna be lots of ranchers out here charging a fortune, just an absolute boatload to go camping in those places. Oh, and there goes the reset of the chat, so that I lose all my spots. Okay. I'm so far behind the chat. Oh, it just cut off a whole bunch, so there we go. All right, so we are now only 50 minutes behind. Cool. That's not so bad. Okay, so sorry it cut off a bunch of the chat. We're now at 4:51 p.m. Richard K. Is Rose's judge close to ruling? No. He's still waiting for the answer to the complaint from FINRA, which they've not sent in. They have until next Wednesday to send it in. And we'll see if they send in anything that's good. I doubt it. I bet they're going to just rehash the arguments they made for against the TRO, which weren't very good, but the judge went, oh, immunity. Cool. That was easy. So I hope he does a little more homework this time around, looking into it. Michael Bonneville, what good option tactic that you as a degenerate gambler partake? Basically, I go by when I think OPEX might run, and I do two things. I buy something that might be related to one of the meme stocks because they're volatile, right? They like to bounce up and down. And I might buy something that's like 4 months out, or several things that are like 4 months out, because somewhere in that quarter you're going to have a price spike. So I buy something that's pretty close to in the money, looking at pretty far out. Somewhere along there, we're gonna get a spike. It's gonna go. As soon as it spikes, I get a put on it and I write it back down. I also look at the OPEX, and this is the one that usually burns me. I'll look at something that's fairly closer and hope that the OPEX results in some buying and the price goes up. But, you know, the last time it worked really well for me was in August with GME, AMC, and Bed Bath & Beyond. And then when I wrote it up, sold all of them, bought puts, wrote it down, sold all of them, dumped it all in the Bed Bath & Beyond, which screamed. I had 50 Bed Bath & Beyond calls at $9. And it was at $31. It closed. Ryan Cohen said, I'm out. And between the day it closed and open in the morning, the stock was down to like $7 and my calls were worthless. And they were like $108,000 at one point. I waited too long. Just bag held that sucker. Oh well, it happens. Such is life. What are you gonna do except shake your head, lie awake at night, going, "Ah, you dumb feather plucker." That's what you do, and then you move on and live your life. What does Monkey Butt think about MMTLP at 750 share? She thinks she wants more than that, because 750 a share buys us the off-road four-wheel drive RV, but then we don't have anything left over for gas money. So it's got to be a little bit higher than that. Crazy Diamond Houston, do you think it's a coincidence that Jess Hopper left FINRA this week, possibly set up as a scapegoat, and knew it? Well, I mean, she's been there like 18 years, plus probably other time and other positions. If your job as a thankless bureaucrat is to get yelled at all day long by a bunch of small cap stock people and you go, you know what? I can take my pension and get the hell out of here. That's probably what you're gonna do. I wouldn't doubt seeing her double dip and take a role at an investment bank or hedge fund or whatever, because might as well take those millions that they'll give you. But I don't know if she's gonna necessarily be set up as a scapegoat simply because nothing's happening. If everything collapsed, right? Everything's just like the bottom just fell out of the entire market and everything's going crazy. I would totally see her as a scapegoat, but I think she's getting out now, and then whoever's in charge is going to be left that steaming pile of turds. So she'll make it out. She'll retire somewhere. She'll be totally cool. Right, Kat? Yeah. We got ourselves chalupa cam now. Crazy Diamond, talking beavers. Check out these coordinates. Is this that mountain that looks like a JJ in Africa? 12 degrees north? Maybe not. We're going across. We are going to Africa. We are going to the mountain that looks like a JJ in Africa. I know where you guys are sending me now. I know where you're sending me. El Labeo de Sudan. Le Bois de Sudan. That's the mountain of JJ. There it is. Hello, madame. And no one knew it looked like that until you got into outer space. There you go. Chris Collins, thoughts on FINRA's Twitter death? FINRA's not on Twitter anymore? Is this will be news to me. Search Twitter. FINRA. FINRA. It looks like it's there. I see FINRA. I don't see any Twitter death. Whoops, that's not there and there. There's FINRA. I don't see any Twitter death. But they haven't posted in weeks. December 20th was their last post. Yeah, I mean, they haven't posted in weeks. So, maybe someone did die? So I have no thoughts on it outside of that. All right, people talking about the Madoff Netflix documentary, which I do recommend. It's only like 4 episodes. I do recommend you watch it because you can see exactly like how the systems that are supposed to be pit bulls completely failed us. There was a quant, an analyst, who literally served them up a platter of the crimes Madoff was committing for like 7 years straight, 8 years straight. Every year he'd submit again, like, hey, he's committing a crime. They're not doing any trades. It's all Ponzi scheme. These returns are impossible. It's going to be the largest thing ever. And like they had guessed it was like 7 or 8 billion. Not that it was, $65 billion Ponzi scheme. They had no idea. And the SEC didn't do anything. And right now we're serving them. We're saying, hey, there's crimes happening. These guys are selling stocks that don't exist. There's crimes. And did the SEC learn their lesson? Probably not. I would love to see some of us in the community get jobs in SEC enforcement. Why not apply? Let's see if there's any SEC enforcement jobs available right now. usajobs.gov. Okay. SEC. Got economist, management specialist. Oops, you guys can't see here. Attorney advisor, program specialist, supervisor, general attorney. So got a bunch of attorneys. Attorney advisor, staff accountant, attorney advisor, human resources, attorney advisor, economist, senior officer director, disclosure operations, management program analyst, attorney advisor, security specialist, Department of Defense, senior level / regional director. Don't you have any enforcement positions? So I'm just going to put security and exchange commission. The securities. I'm plural. Securities exchange commission. So attorney advisor, economist, advisor, resources advisor, program specialist, diversity, staff accountant. Associate director, senior advisor, regional director. You can be a regional director, get $200K a year, not too shabby. General attorney, IT specialist, management program analyst, attorney, financial management specialist, trial attorney. That's it. They don't have any enforcement officer positions. But if you're an attorney and you want to make 111, 116, 150, an okay living, nothing that's absolutely crazy, then yeah, you can go work for the SEC. Attorney advisors make though, right? They're 150. But meh. They need to have a whole bunch of law enforcement positions open at the SEC because Congress needs to give them the ability to prosecute, to arrest and charge these assholes, and not make them so toothless they just give them like little limp slaps on the wrist. Bill Coyne, sorry, I totally missed. Anyone here figure out why I faked moon landing yet? God damn it, Bill. I'm gonna launch you to the moon just to show you that it can be done. Dakota Gregory Chadswick Duckingworth IV. LULD halts were triggered. Margin calls. Give me your best tinfoil hat theory. Yeah, you guys always talk about things. I have no idea what's going on. Limit up, limit down mechanism. Are these the ones that happened on Tuesday? Is that what we're talking about? The weird ones that happened right at the opening? Again, like the explanation from New York Stock Exchange is that some tech person entered the wrong code and shit happened. I would love to see though a deep dive into the tickers that triggered and who owns them. Like who is the best match for those tickers? Because it's like DNA, man. Like, yes, you have index funds that own everything, but then you got a couple of big funds that just, there's certain plays that they're in. If it just so happens that all the stocks they own happen to be those 84 tickers, then you might have something more than just, some butterfingers in the IT department hitting some wrong code in there. If anyone can look at all those like 8Ks and 10Ks and all reportings of those holdings of all those companies, match them up. I'm not going to do it, but hopefully someone else can do it. Oh crap, I missed a Quiet Quest super chat. I'm so sorry, Quiet Quest. How am I missing all these? Wouldn't open up trading be the easiest way to finish MMTLP? I'm guessing settlement and gray market wouldn't make sense because we were promised next bridge. Yes. I mean, it would be the easiest way in general, but it would be so expensive. I think everyone's scared of doing that. That literally it's going to cost trillions because you might have 1 billion shares. A majority of those folks are going to ask for $1,000 or more a share, which is pushing you past $1 trillion in liability, which no one has the cash for, except for the Federal Reserve at this point, or draining everything that's in the reverse repo market every night. And that would send a shockwave through the market that I think would just be a cascading effect to all the other shorted shares. So they're going to try to avoid that as best they can and do as cheaply and quietly as possible without letting everyone know just how much they screwed up. And Rosa's lawsuit is great because if she wins, it would force them to basically admit, hey, we screwed up. It's going to cost everyone a fortune. Sorry about that. Sorry, everyone's 401ks. They're going to be hurt for a while. That's kind of what we're looking at there. Did I miss anyone else's? Okay, sorry. Sorry for missing yours. Their quiet quest. Kith, ticket holders are BlackRock and Global X. Okay, they're the ones that match up on that? Okay. All right. Got a few minutes left here. Let's beat down towards the bottom. BK Lincris. Houston, please settle a bet. Did you buy that shirt from the old wardrobe department of Magnum PI or from the estate sale of a Florida-based hoarder? This shirt, I believe, was given to me. I think this is what was part of the collection that was literally hanging in a plastic bag from the door handle of my front door when I left for work one day, like a decade ago. There's like just a dozen Hawaiian shirts in there, and this is one of them. You'll see this shirt again next week because I recorded an interview with Josh Hamilton of The Gist today, and he's going to be posting the video on Tuesday. So you'll see this shirt in 2 videos, today's and Tuesday's video with Josh Hamilton, which was a really fun conversation. We talked for like 2 hours. I have no idea how much of it he's going to keep because he edits those, make them timely. But it's always fun to talk to him. Georgia Herd's got something for me. Where are we going, Georgia? You know me, I'm a sucker for any and all coordinates, even though half the time you guys send me places and I have no idea why you sent me there. I don't know if it's going to top Honk if you're horny, but let's see what we got. We're flying. We're going to the middle of the Pacific. Where do we end up here? Where am I? Am I in Australia? Am I in New Zealand? I have no idea. I am Coral Castle Snack Bar Coffee Shop next to a highway. Which continent are we on right now? We are on... Oh, we're in Florida. Oh, I thought we were still in Texas. But we were in Africa for the last one. Okay, we're in Florida. We are at what looks like a park. Coral Castle. Okay, we do have some coral here. It is a coral castle. Look at you. So we've got some quarried blocks of coral stacked. Got a little chair. Got a little bird bath. That's definitely forming some Zika and some West Nile virus in there. It's hot outside, so people are trying to shade themselves from the sun, obviously. Got some carvings out of our blocks of coral. Well, this is kind of neat. All right. I can dig this little park. If not for the really disgusting, brackish water there. What other views we got? I'm gonna go over here. I want to look at the outside. The outside. Manicured, walled, gardenish. All right. I dig it. Looks like a pleasant place to go visit. Well, where are we? We're in Florida. Where in Florida are we? Forgot to actually look at that part. We're in southern Florida. We're Leisure City, Homestead Base. We're on what? I-95 maybe? Florida City. So, an appreciable number of miles south of Miami before you get to what is the beginning of the Everglades, I guess. Yeah, Southern Glades. Huh. Well, there you go. There you go. Says Benno Johnson, if I just an empty Sunny D bottle, I can pee without getting off the couch. Tourist trap to visit. There, for your Hitchhiker's Guide. Adam Aaron tweeted something about the banks. What do you say? Okay. Oops. Bam. Today we filed SEC 8K that our bank lenders have extended a covenant waiver all the way to March 31st, 2024. That is a reflection of AMC's recovery being well underway. Vote of confidence AMC by our banks that we much welcome. Thank you, Citi, Goldman, and Credit Suisse. I mean, it's great that they got another year out of that stuff. Hopefully you can pay it off without, giving short hedge funds the controlling interest in your company. We'll see. I mean, Citi, Goldman, and Credit Suisse are all on their way out anyway, so what's another year without having to realize losses? Okay. I'll do one more here, and then I'm going to run away. Gary Delvecchio, stock buybacks are financial engineering, and a growing company should never do them. They should invest or pay their employees more. Agreed. We saw the problem that stock buybacks can result in when we had the baby formula squeeze, like shortage last winter, last fall, last spring, right? You had this company that spent $5 billion doing stock buybacks to boost their stock price and ignored the failing infrastructure of their entire operation. And so they didn't do any maintenance, they didn't do any updating. And when their entire plant got shut down because it was basically a bacteria breeding ground, we lost one of the two major baby formula makers in the entire country. And so, like, all of a sudden, we'll just let some babies starve to death because you want to do some stock buybacks rather than, improve your company, right? So, Google just did like $67 billion in stock buybacks and laid a bunch of people off. Those people cost them $2 billion. So what are you doing? What are you doing with your stock buybacks? Like, I don't know. Whenever I see stock buybacks and it's not some heavily shorted little company, all I see is just a bunch of greedy assholes trying to make, a stock price target for their CEOs so they can get a bigger bonus, take even more money from you. As a shareholder, I'd rather have paying dividends than, my stock price artificially high. Pay me some of that cash, baby. That's why I own your company. Pay me cash. Yeah. All right. Is that it today, Kat? You done? Lucky butt? You're on the floor over there somewhere. We're getting 2 hours in. Woo! I'll see you guys Friday. Again, we'll see if we can do Rosa maybe Monday or Wednesday next week. Hopefully we'll have something coming from FINRA They're filing there, and then Tuesday is Charity Tuesday with AMC Bigums. So that should be a nice, big, giant, wonderful show where hopefully we raise so much money for whatever charity it is we choose for that day. So again, head over to the Reddit and put your suggestions in for charities, and we'll pick one of them. So, all right, everyone, thank you so much. It's now after dark, so we can do one of these. Shaboing. Dong, 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 dong.